With the 33rd Africa Cup of Nations, AFCON, set to kick off in Cameroon in a few days' time, many Nigerians have raised concerns about the prospects of the national football team, the Super Eagles, lifting the trophy at the end of the tournament. The anxiety stems from the recent sack of Gernot Rohr, former manager of the Super Eagles, and the appointment of Augustine Eguavoen, a former captain of the national football team, as Rohr's interim replacement. Also, the reluctance by European clubs to release the African players on time for the AFCON tournament has not helped matters. This prompted Patrick Vieira, a former French national football player and current manager of the Premier League club Crystal Palace, to call on his colleagues to show AFCON greater respect because it's just as important as European championships. Three-time African champions Nigeria will confront seven-time and world record winners Egypt, Sudan, and debutants Guinea-Bissau in Gara during the group stage of the tournament. Joining us now to discuss preparations for the AFCON tournament and the prospects of the Super Eagles under the supervision of Augustine Eguavoen is Amaju Pinnick, President of the Nigerian Football Federation. Welcome to the show, Mr. Pinnick. Good morning.
Thank you very much for having me. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You can see that Aussie College is just dominating your space this morning. You know, Emmanuel Ogidi, I saw him. A very proud Ocean, my secondary school, Aussie College Warrior.
Aussie College Warrior.
Which village?
Aussie College Warrior.
Aussie College Warrior.
Oh, okay.
No. You cannot wonder about Aussie College.
Exactly.
It's the secondary school that produced the most Super Eagles players. I'm telling you.
Okay.
The most Super Eagles players. I can count 10 Super Eagles players that went to Aussie College. No other school in Nigeria has done that.
Okay, the clarification is useful because I'm used to people from these villages, you know, mentioning some of these schools.
Aussie College is an Ivy League school.
Anyway, I know everyone is proud of their school, but let's talk about AFCON. Now, in the last few days, we've had a lot of anxieties about health issues, administrative concerns. In the middle of it, we even we recruited a new coach and asked Gernot Rohr to step aside. Are we really prepared? What are our chances? I don't want to rely on some prophets saying that we're not going to do well, but I mean, you are the man in the arena. How prepared are we? What are the prospects?
Yeah, we thank you very much for that question. We are very, very prepared. And outside this morning, we have about 15 players in camp. Some of them played their games for the Premier League clubs, some other clubs yesterday, and they're all, by tomorrow, we are going to have a full house. We are excited because we believe this is our opportunity to win that tournament once again, you know. And the players are all prepared. They are all, you know, motivated and excited about that prospect, you know. So we're in touch with all of them, A to Z, and we are doing everything humanly and materially possible. It's a tough call, but the good news is that we have some of our sponsors that are testing out. For example, our deal with Stanbic IBTC. We take out completely all the insurance issues with the team because we normally spend an obscene amount of money for insurance. So Stanbic, we have a deal for 1.75 billion that we cater for our insurance needs, not just for AFCON, the Super Falcons all through the year. So that will be taken off the budget. Then we're also looking at some of our old sponsors, even Zenith Bank, they've called and, we're going to interface with them, even though we have Stanbic as our official banking partners. We still have other corporations that want to come and assist because you cannot leave this for government alone, that I can tell you. Because the Super Eagles is a huge brand, and we need to give them A to Z of what they need. And right now, we've even gotten the clearance from Garoua, the international airport, that we allow only our charter and that of Egypt to fly into Garoua on the feet. So give and take, by tomorrow we'll have a full house. And generally, there have been speculations about, you know, some people said a group of us in CAF were going to oppose, you know, the AFCON because of the outbreak of the Omicron virus. That is a complete blatant falsehood because what we advocated is, you know, when people look at Patrice Motsepe, the president of CAF, I make bold to say it. I'm, if not his closest confidant, I'm one of his closest confidants. His direction is our direction. And we just believe that this is an African thing, and we must do it the African way, even taking cognizance of the pandemic, the breakout of the pandemic. So, and what the concern was that, if you have a tournament, it has a tenure. The league tenure is 9 months. A tournament tenure is 1 month. If, for example, a COVID test is conducted a day to the game, and 5 of possibly, God forbid, Nigerian players tested positive, 5 Egyptian players, key players. If you postpone the game, when are you going to postpone it to? Because there's a given tenure. Those were some of the concerns some people raised in CAF. Very genuine concern. And if you look at it, they expanded the number of players from 23 to 29 just to accommodate more players. And also look at the fact that instead of putting 2 players in one room, we have them also keeping social distances while they play as much as possible. So that was a complete blatant false. But give and take, the government on its own is doing everything humanly possible. The minister is on top of it. We've written to them, for intervention. That's what we normally do in big tournaments like this. And I believe any moment from now we'll get a reprieve from that. But give and take, we've been able to work within what we have. We got some of our payment from NTN, which we warehouse, and we are going to use it to start off the process. So I don't think we are going to lack as such.
I want to talk about the controversies. I referred to Patrick Vieira in that introduction. Even Ian Wright, the Arsenal and England legend, has had to chime in, talking about how disrespectful it is when clubs do not want to release African players to play for AFCON. You'll remember Jurgen Klopp saying the little tournament, and that raised some dust. What is your take on all of this? And do you see it as a challenge? And are there FIFA rules whereby a club like Watford can prevent a player like Emmanuel Dennis from representing his own country?
Yeah, you see, there are statutory provisions, regarding inviting players. We're given a deadline for the first list. In a big tournament, you submit a first list, maybe comprised of 37 to 40 players. So in case there are injuries or force majeure, you can replace or bring in some new players. The first list, that was submitted by our first coach, Genotro, on the 15th, excluded Dennis. That was the origin of the problem. Then I'm in touch with him. He wants to play for Nigeria. He loves the country. But you can also see that some clubs are very stubborn, especially those ones that are struggling. I've interfaced with them. You can see that most time I go around trying to build relationship with the clubs. I'll also give you an example with a boy. A boy was not there originally, but when we decided that based on the fact that we had issues with Balogun, we needed to strengthen our defense, he went to the club president in Venezia. He's on loan from Benfica, and said to the president, listen, I want to go to AFCON. This is the little you can do for me. I love my country. I want to represent my country. Ipso facto representing you. And the president said, okay, wow, there you go. I'll get you a plane. You fly straight to Garwa on the 6th. So there are some players that are, even Ekong had to go to his team and say, no, I was in the original list. I have to go. So some are really, really determined. Osimhen's case is, of course, all what Nigeria wants to hear, He doesn't believe that right now because I had a 1-hour conversation with him. The day he was meant to do his scan, a second scan, that would make him take off the face guard, and, that was the day he caught COVID. So there was no way anybody he could do that, and that was the deadline. So he called me and said, President, listen, even if I try, even if I go to my president, and I also told him I was coming to your club, I wanted to come and see his president. And he said, President, listen, I will not be able to give my best. Let other players also showcase their talent. The World Cup qualifiers, let me prepare myself. He appealed. And he called me, he called the coach, and he called the team secretary, and also the general secretary. I know Osimhen loves his country. You know that, I know that. He wants to give his best. But he believes right now there are some players that will do better than him. So let him take a back seat and allow them go. So that's it. So it's a tough call. But coming back to your question about disrespect for Africa, it's something we are not going to take. We are meeting in CAF, and we are going to come out. I'm going to propose to them, whether they like it or not. There are some, we're going to come out with not just Nigeria, come out with a format whereby if you do not respect Africa, we will make sure African players don't come to your club. Somehow, it's a proposal I've told I've told a team to put it together for me. Because we cannot, if, for example, England invites a player from Watford will drive to their camp and drop that player there.
Exactly.
And that's it. So we see some kind of, me, because I'm in FIFA, there's a modicum of that philosophy of information. There are some things I cannot say. But the truth is, it's so clear that we are being discriminated upon.
Yes.
So, and trust me, the president of CAF will not take this lightly, because he's not just a pedestrian president. He's somebody that is so well respected globally, and he will use his influence in ensuring that we regain and get that respect once again from the global football community. That one is given. Nobody's happy about it. No soul is happy about it. It's not just Nigeria. Look at the player from Senegal as well that plays in Watford. They're also blocking him. So we know they are struggling, but you must respect the continent. Say what you respect. The Europe Cup was played across 9 to 10 countries. There was no issue. When it comes to Africa, playing in a single country, Cameroon, they have invested over $1 billion. You want to shut that out? No, we're Africans. And if you look at it, look at Saleh yesterday, look at Mane yesterday. African players, what they contribute to the GDP of European nations is unprecedented. So we believe we must have that requisite or reciprocal respect from these institutions. Otherwise, we are going to take very decisive actions. As Africans, we must be respected, and that's the truth.
Right, but there have been rumors of non-payment of salaries that have played the Super Eagles, a lot of money problems with the Eagles lately ahead of the tournament, government releasing fund or no fund, all those problems with the Super Eagles. It's just a couple of days to the Nations Cup. Why is it that we keep going around this?
You understand that right now things are very, very difficult.
This circle.
Things are very, very difficult, and that's why we're thankful to the government, especially the minister, for giving us that enabling environment for us to. Because ordinarily, the truth is, football should fend for itself. Ordinarily, then we ask for intervention where necessary from government. But what the government has done is to give us that enabling environment. You can imagine in the last 2 years, we've been able to secure loads and loads of sponsorship, which has taken us to almost, with this Stanbic one, taking us almost 90% of our. But you need intervention for major tournaments. Now, what they've done, we have requested for an intervention. And I believe that one is because the president is extremely excited and interested in football development in this country. That will be approved. What we requested for might not be approved wholly, but so we are going to augment with some of our sponsorship. I just told you about our MTN paying us about $1 billion, which of course we have warehouse to kickstart this tournament. Now, regarding the former coach, Genotro, I was in Ghana last week to see the chairman of, the vice chairman of Aiteyo, Benedict Peters. We had a very, because I saw that they are our major sponsors, They are meant to be accounting for about almost 30% of our expenses, the Aiteyo group, So I needed to see him because I knew they had a major challenge in Yenagoa, which we covered extensively. Once you have a challenge like that, you cannot bring in any other factor. They needed to put off that spill, that fire. They needed to do all those things. So we had a good discussion. So by tomorrow, we are going to receive funds from them. That's the assurance he gave. To pay off Genotro is outstanding and everything legally permitted to pay him so that you can say, thank you very much, bye. Then we have some money for the incoming coach. As for Eguavoen and co, we are not going there because Eguavoen is under our operational cost of, rolling cost for salaries. We have an operational cost from FIFA, which we used to pay the general secretary, pay some of the major staff, and also from Eguavoen as well.
Just to ask you this, what's the deal like with this new Portuguese, Jose Peseiro? You said Jose Mourinho, intervened in the matter, recommended him highly and all of that.
The truth is, he grew up with Jose Mourinho.
Okay.
He grew up with, they grew up in the same neighborhood. They were friends and they be friends, So I also spoke with Arsene when I was in Doha,
Arsene Wenger?
Yeah. He's the technical director of FIFA. Okay. Every day we're always together.
So it comes highly rated?
No. So I spoke with Arsene, about coaches. Then I put a call through to Jose. I hear you know this guy. What do you think about him? And I know what he told me. And I also, said, well, it's not limit. Listen, I need to talk to my minister because we work in very good harmony. So, and he did that. So it's not because he was pushing by particular. He just said, listen, he's a very, very good coach. He's very hungry for success. And if you look at Pizarro, when I was talking to him, he was talking as if he has been coaching the Super Eagles for a long time. And he said to me, he said, listen, Nigeria, you played against Croatia in the World Cup, in your opening match. They did not over-dominate you. It was 45, 55% ball, possession. I'm coming. And he said, Croatia eventually played in the finals of the World Cup. It could have been Nigeria playing in the finals. That maybe one or two things were not done rightly. That's a coach thinking. And I got impressed. And he brought the Y Scout. The Y Scout is a software to analyze the strength of your players. He gave me the analysis of every one of our players scientifically. I was taken aback. And when he spoke with the technical committee, when they were doing it, I was just like an observer. We're all impressed, and that's it.
Well, how much are we paying him? Will he stay in Nigeria? Sorry, Dr. Abati. How much are we paying him? Will he stay in Nigeria?
Listen, he lost his country.
Will he stay
if he's not Portuguese, he will stay in Nigeria. We have a house in Abuja, and we have a guest house in Lagos. He'll be moving to watch all of this thing. And that one is, listen, he's setting.
Stay here.
He will.
You said it.
I'm telling you.
He will stay.
100%.
How much are we paying him?
They're still discussing that with the local committee headed by my vice president. They're looking at it's not just how much you're paying him. There are a lot of things, he's going to come with maybe 2 other assistants, in terms of backroom, which of course we allow. So there are a lot of details that need to be discussed.
Okay.
Okay, fine. It's good you've given these details. Because some people have expressed the view that, what was the role of the NFF in the recruitment of this new coach? There was a statement out there that, the NFF did not play any particular role. But you've just confirmed with your involvement that the Football Federation was actually involved. But the other question is, why hire a coach that does not seem to have a track record of performance and distinction? Some persons think, why not a Glenn Hoddle, for example? Why a Pacero, who you can't really say is a big coach who has done really well? And then with him there and Eguavoen, do you think that the Super Eagles stand a chance of winning the AFCON?
First, let me go back to your... Pizarro is a big coach. A coach, anybody that's coached Porto is a big coach. Braga is a big coach. A very, very big coach. All those
by
clubs...
association?
No, not by association.
Actual performance?
And the actual performance. He has also won laurels. If you look at when West Ham came, who knew him? Nobody. Bonfrejo knew him? Nobody. So it's not a matter... And a coach is as good as your last game. And that's the truth. Which coach has not been sacked? Tell me. No coach. Even if Arsene did not leave at the time he left, possibly he would have been sacked. There's no coach. Because if you want to sack it, you look at the sentiment of the fans of that particular polity or entity like Arsenal or like Nigeria or anything. So a coach is as good as his last game. So if you're not good enough, but when you look at other things, and a coach if they sack him, don't just sit at home and wait for another job. He needs to build capacity. He needs to improve on himself. And that's what some of these coaches have often done. Eguavoen, to me, is an excellent, excellent guy. I've worked with him for the past 1 year, and trust me, he's faultless. But let me tell you the truth. As a Nigerian, we will give him A to Z of the support. And when he reverts back to the role of a technical director, even if he wins the Nations Cup, we'll build a lot of capacity around him in terms of ease of doing his job. He's an excellent, excellent guy. But ask Eguavoen, the last 3 weeks they've announced him as the coach, the kind of pressure and distractions he's getting from Nigerians, especially the so-called agents. You cannot try that with a foreign coach. That's the difference. As a Nigerian, ask him the kind of pressure. Eguavoen, this is your opportunity. Eguavoen, you will know Nigerians. They are just looking at their pocket. And that is the truth. Eguavoen is, what you say, somebody that is level-headed. In that area, you can call him an egghead. He's level-headed. He knows what he wants. He's been talking to them. And we have a very special bond. President, I need to talk to this president, I need to do this. We share a lot of things together. And when we talk, like now he was telling me that, President, listen, I'm going to talk to each and one of them. We're talking, I'm not meant to say this. I'm going to talk to each and one. Players, you don't teach them how to trap the ball, how to chase the ball, but you have to build them up psychologically. Emile Jacquet, in 1998, when they were going for the World Cup, the two biggest players in France, Ginola and Cantona,
Didn't take them.
he didn't take them. The whole France came on him. He said, no, they will not go because of certain reasons. And they didn't go. And what happened? They won the World Cup. Eguavoen and I discussed this issue. He brought it up. And I was very impressed. So if you look at all these things, you understand the psychology of a player because he was an ex-player. So we give him the respect, we give him that. Then Pizarro is not anybody that you can. I've just given you that before you even employed him, he's used the software to tell you that, look at the Nigerian players, look at all my rating, look at their capacities in terms of performance and other factors. So what else do you need from a coach?
Wow. Still speaking of coaches, is that...
So I asked you whether we can win the AFCON this time.
Important question.
Listen, should I sit there and tell you where we can win? No, we can't. I will not sit
No,
here.
but you can be honest.
Listen, I was talking to a top person. He said, listen, the country to be feared is Nigeria. When you think their preparation is not 100%, they will come there and will leave that trophy.
Okay,
He said, so-
go and fumble.
You know, Nigeria, God has a special gift for this country. But besides that, we are really working. You see, even flying the team there, Allen, the chairman of EPIS, me and him, we are the one even doing it. Not even before we push it to our subordinates. Because he loves the Super Eagles and he's taking it. They're going to use their best plane. They're going to... He called and said, when do people want to leave? And we told him, this is the time we want to leave. Without even asking for his finances, for his payments. You know, so we've gone really, really far, you know, in all of this. So Nigerians should come, pray for us, support us. Our sponsors, new and old, we need all your support. And I'm happy we're still going to go back to them, you know, and ensure that they give us all the support and motivation. If we have that in place, trust me, by God's grace, we are sure 100% that we can win the Nations Cup, you know. You see, this our preparation, the way you see it, all is cut with listen, we have, you should understand, we have 3 child groups in football. 1 for the FIFA Council members, 2 for as president of NFF, and 3 as CAF Executive Committee. We have our FIFA one as well, but these are, so we interface every day, and this problem keep recurring. I can tell you, 5 of my players had COVID. 5. Well, 4 have recovered. They are doing the test for the 5th one this morning. But I won't come out to the press to say it. But I talk to them every day. But it's fine, you know. So I know so many countries. Cape Verde, about 7 of them, you know. So it's not just Nigeria. This is not sui generis. It's not limited to only Nigeria. It's around the continent. The preparation seems lackluster. But trust me, when it comes to the pitch, and when they wear that green shirt and look at Nigerians, they will give their best, I'm sure.
From your lips to God's ears. So what happened with the NFF General Assembly? There was talk of a court order. Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, the General Assembly of Nigerian Ball Federation, you know, is like a rounding of the year, and where critical decisions are endorsed and accepted, because the General Assembly is the highest decision-making body of the Nigerian Ball Federation. But of course, you understand the dynamics of all this is been in existence since, as far as I know, NFF. So someone went to court, got an ex parte, and our statute is clear that you must respect the laws of the land. I decided to respect the laws of the land and say, okay, let it go. We'll go there and vacate it. Once we vacate that, then maybe after the AFCON, we can have propose to have another General Assembly. But all what we needed to do statutorily, we did. We wrote a letter to FIFA intimating them of that. And also our financial report, and our detailed report, we got the executive committee to meet, which we met, and we also endorsed it and sent it to FIFA. So statutorily, we've done all we need to do. We also informed the ministry, because I told you we work in very good harmony, so of the development. So they are looking at it. We are 100% sure by God's grace, once we're able to vacate the ex parte, we continue, we'll call for an AGA. But right now, we're in touch with the zonal heads, you know, which of course is in sync with our FIFA's goal, just to make sure that we fulfill our righteousness. We need to do, and I think we've done that.
So another thing is, a lot of people are looking at other players on the radar for the strike force of the Super Eagles. I mean, Onachu will not be making it in the Nations Cup, sadly enough, but there's been some exciting talent. Luqman, all right, Luqman that plays for Leicester. There's also the case, recently there's a banter between Jose Mourinho and Tammy Abrahams, saying that if England doesn't call him, he would advise Tammy Abrahams to look at the possibility of playing for Nigeria. I mean, is there anything you're picking up as regards that conversation? Is this the time, because you've said you know the parents of Tammy Abrahams, is this the time to call again? And what is happening to Luqman's case, at this point?
No, Luqman, Ademola Luqman, if there is one person that is so respectful and loves the country, I talk to him every day. I talk to him every now and then. I would have put him on speaker for him to tell Nigerians, I love you guys. He loves Nigeria, I want to play. And he said, but you see, the switch, it takes time. That's it. Because he had been an integral in terms of playing for the English youth team. So the switch, and it's not just England, Wales, Scotland. FIFA needs to write all this when they say, hope is not playing for you guys anymore. Hope, it's a very long process. But trust me, I also met his dad. We played tennis together in the Kuwait club. So Luqman is a forgotten issue. By God's grace, we'll see him in the World Cup qualifier.
Switch to Nigeria.
He loves his country, trust me. Then Olayinka is another fantastic attacker, Olayinka, he plays very well. So there's Sadiq. Sadiq is quite enterprising, like Kanu. So you see, when one door closes...
Tammy Abraham's case?
Tammy's dad and I, we grew up in the same neighborhood. Tammy is like my son. The dad comes to Nigeria, goes straight to my house, pick one of my cars, and that's the kind of relationship that I have with him, with Tony. So, and I'm in touch with Tony, but there are so many things that are better left unsaid. We don't want to start pushing it out because it's not so good for the image of the country. It's not good for his brand. It's not so good for his club. So we just decided to, because anything football, it pops out there so openly that people start picking things and negative, positives, causing a lot of distraction. So there are things that are better left unsaid. So we'll watch and see.
But Luqman,
if he wants to come, Luqman, I can tell you across my hands, 100%. If you want me, I can put him on speaker for you now. So if he tell you, hello, I love this country. Luqman is a done deal. But I just want to talk to Nigerians, and a bit of patience. We'll have him. He's there already. He's a good striker. He's a good player. And, he's very, very young. And he's got a long time with the Super Eagles, that I can say.
Well, Amaju, before we begin to wrap up, what's the plan in place, the structure in place for the broadcasting of the games? I hope this time around, no controversy about who will broadcast, who has the rights, all of that settled, right?
Yeah, all has been 100% settled. We'll watch it. We'll watch it. We'll just do it the way we want to do it. I don't think there are issues.
Or there is a framework in place?
There's a framework in place, and you see it. It's good. I mean, you see it. I don't want to call you a rival, but you see it. It's going to be. Let me respect Arise. You know me, I'm Arise, so I want to respect Arise.
No, you should broadcast it through Arise.
No. I know you broadcast it. You just wait, you see it on TV. You watch all the games on TV.
Okay.
But we are working on so many other things, I'm the vice president of the committee. You can also call me, I'm high up there in terms of organizing. So we've been having meetings every day regarding, medical facilities. We are looking at everything, and everything seems, at the moment, appreciably okay, and we'll go there and do what we need to do. I'm both president and also a key and integral member. You understand, the last AFCON, I was the president of the committee. I did, we organized it, so the experience is there, and I don't think CAF is going to fall short of quality organization.
Right, we're rounding up now, but you've talked about the strikers. Can you just take us through the rest of the 28-man team and their prospects? Just, name names, get us excited.
The names that they're all there, the names that you know, Ndidi, Yenacho, all our defenders. Yes, then that guy from South Africa, the fantastic defender, is very good, very tall, very energetic, plays very, very well, you know. And all our defenders, then in midfield is intact. We're happy about it. And the good news is that everybody wants to win AFCON. They are more excited about winning the AFCON than you, because it will be in their library. They want it. They want that trophy. They want that medal. So they want to win for this country. They want to win for Nigeria, because they believe football is a major and integral unifying factor in this country. It makes Nigerians very, very happy. So on our part, listen, I'm like the chief servant in NFF. Out of checklist of jerseys I've ticked this morning. Balls I've ticked. Everything I've ticked with the team secretary and the general secretary. General secretary, oh, this one is ready, yes. Oh, everything is ready. How many jerseys are we taking? We talk every day. We don't want to make mistake. Even as a human being, you can make mistake, but let it be minimal. Because we cannot explain to Nigerians why this is not going the way it's going. So you push yours. Watch out for us. We'll try our best.
Anyway, in terms of composition, we seem to have just about 4 goalkeepers, so many defenders, very few midfielders, and a long list of attackers. I hope as a strategy that makes sense. I hope that's deliberate.
You see, once you are talking about midfield is an area where you can convert defenders and attackers when you have enough. It's a very strong. There are some natural midfielders. You know, and of course there's defensive, there's offensive. The offensive ones, of course, are the playmakers, like the JJ Okocha, of course. So you should understand that you can convert players from wherever, but trust me, the midfield is intact. Iwobi is there. Iwobi is more of a national team player than a club player now. I mean, he loves his country. Indeed, he's there. So what else again? We have all our players in the midfield.
Okay. Thank you very much, Amaju Pinnick. We'll see how it plays out, but we wish Nigeria well. We, like the players too, we wish that Nigeria could take the cup.
I pray I come here with the trophy.
Yeah.
I pray I come here with the trophy.
Yeah, we're going to put it up here.
I'll put it up here and say, wow, Nigeria, this is our 4th time in winning this. I always believe that Nigerians, if we set out to do anything,
we can achieve it. Well,
we can achieve
it.
But
I hope we are not recruiting prophets and prophetesses.
but we also need prayers. That's the truth. We need prayers from our Muslim brothers. We have prayers from our Christian brothers. We also need, listen, you cannot achieve anything without prayers. Trust me. Because you can wake up one morning, you have a headache. You don't know where it's coming from. It's only prayers that can take that headache off. Not even medical.
Okay.
On that note,
that's a very controversial point. We have to let you go.
Thank you
very much.